What's going on, everyone? Today I want to have a discussion, and I haven't had one of these discussions in a while. I'm going to annotate this video and put some links in the description below to similar discussions which I've had on the channel if you want to check those out and if you're interested in these types of talks. But today what I wanted to talk about was controlling one's emotions and the art of polarization. Now, they're very similar, and both these topics and both of these things that I'm going to be discussing, they are in relation to Stoicism and Hermeticism. I'm going to put some links in the description below to Stoicism and Hermeticism for you to find out more information about these things. Let's say they're basic operating principles of humanity, of just an individual going through their day-to-day life. So what I wanted to talk about today was the art of controlling one's emotions. So getting right into it and into our discussion today, I find that a lot of people get held up or caught up on little extrinsic things that happen to them in their day-to-day routine and in their day-to-day life. Now, these I find are the root causes of emotional distress. Now, I'll give you an example. It could be something as simple as you got a bad grade in school. If you go to school, it could be that your girlfriend or boyfriend broke up with you. It could be more serious, more severe, like you've lost a family member, like you've lost a pet. I have 2 dogs. I obviously have tons of family members. I could be very distraught if I was to lose, my pets or someone in my family or even close friends. Now, these, albeit they are very relevant in one's life. Obviously, if you lose a family member, it's a relevant event, and it obviously has some purpose and has some meaning. But now, to understand that particular event, be it a loss of someone or the loss of a job or a poor grade or I don't know, you drop your phone in the toilet, any sort of small event now, small or large, these are all extrinsic things that happen to you on the physical plane, on the manifested plane. Now, these things are transient in nature. Now, when something is transient in nature, it means that it's fleeting. It's relevant, but it's not absolutely relevant. So it's not irrelevant, and it's not absolutely relevant, but it's still relevant. It's still relevant in the sense that it's part of your life, it's part of your existence on this plane, yet it doesn't affect your absolute being. It doesn't affect the one true self which you are. Therefore, it's not absolute. An interesting way of putting it, and a very poetic way of putting it, if you've ever listened to the audiobook or read the audiobook, Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, he puts it in a very interesting way that whenever you feel this way, whenever you feel this unease arising within yourself, be it from a test or the loss of a family member or any extrinsic event that's happening in your life, move into your ruling faculty. So look into your inner self. You can do this by closing your eyes. You can do this by, it's a basic form of meditation. It's even taught with anger management, where they close their eyes and count to 10. Now, if something happens to you, move into your ruling faculty. Your ruling faculty is your I. It is the I that oversees the me. It is the I that is the true one self that oversees the extrinsic events of the me, which occurs throughout your day-to-day life. Move into your ruling faculty. When you do that, you'll truly understand that everything that's occurring in your day-to-day routine or a particular event that's upsetting you, you'll truly understand that that event is transient in nature. You'll truly understand that that event does not affect the absolute self. When you do that, it's not like you feel any different about the event in the sense where the emotion is stripped away from it. All that happens is that you've created some space. And that's the objective. If you can create space around the emotions you're feeling, you've then separated yourself from them. You've then created that detachment. You then no longer have that association which is causing you such distraught and upset within yourself. So it is very important to move into that ruling faculty, to look to the inner self, and then that will reveal the transient nature of all things which are happening to you. The art of polarization is in relation to this as well, because when one polarizes themselves, you basically think of things like there's the good and there's the bad. Now, at the end of the day, there really is no good-bad polarity being created, because the definition of what's good and bad is sort of in the eyes of the individual experiencing it. What's good to you is different than what's good to me. What's bad to me is different than what's bad to you. Therefore, the polarity that's being created there between what's good and bad only exists in the realm of the mind of the person that's experiencing it. So to polarize oneself is to take in the experience of the bad event, to create space around that, and now the objective is to transmute what that bad event is causing within you, the upset, the unease, transmute that to a positive feeling or a positive feeling tone. Now how you do this is by moving into that ruling faculty as I described earlier, and then from there you polarize your emotion to the positive end of the pole. And I'm going to give you a little example here. So this comes straight out of Hermeticism, and it's the art of polarity. And it's that everything in the world has its duals, has its poles, has its opposites. Now, this is a pendulum, cheap little desk thing I have. This is a perfect example here. So imagine yourself as one of these pendulums. Now you can see your emotions, they go back and forth. Now most people, their emotions go back and forth. So they bounce around and they jingle around as they go about their day-to-day routine. Now, the master, or one which is fluent in polarization, let's say, experienced in the art of polarizing themselves, will understand that when there is a negative feeling, a negative emotion, there's the negative end of the pole, and then there's the opposing positive end of the pole. So the objective is to hold yourself at the positive end of the pole. When you hold yourself at the positive end, you can see that you can continue to remain on the positive end of the pole while all other things happen around you. You're polarized here. Now the way of doing this is, it's a method of transmutation. If you are having a negative experience or event in your life, you don't necessarily want to get into that particular event or experience and then break it down and try to make it a positive one, because you're not letting it be at that point. You're not leaving the experience as it is. You're not just leaving it there to be experienced. You're actually placing somewhat of a judgment on it, and you're calling that a negative experience in a way. So now the art of polarization is to understand, see, and experience that negative, whatever it may be, but then to try moving into the ruling faculty, close your eyes if you have to, and then move or shift to the positive pole. You can do this by thinking about something that gives you absolute happiness or absolute joy. You can do it with affirmations. You can close your eyes and think to yourself, I will create no more unease within myself. I radiate pure joy. I am happiness. I am eternal. These are affirmations you can repeat to yourself that will help polarize you on the positive end of the pole. If you can think of things that create absolute joy in the moments of your life that you're experiencing absolute sorrow, you're not creating a shift in the event which is causing the sorrow, but what you're doing is letting that event be and polarizing yourself to a positive end, a joyful end, where you can then revisit that experience from a new perspective, and you can then have a clearer thought and vision on what you need to do with that experience. That's the benefits of polarization. If you don't polarize yourself to the positive end of the pole, as we did in our example here, if you remain moving, so if you don't polarize yourself here and you remain at the bottom while all these things happen, you'll never be at peace. You see, these are never at rest. Your objective is to remain at rest on the positive end of the pole by polarizing yourself and controlling your emotions. That's kind of what I wanted to talk about today. It's a brief touch on the subject. Again, links in the description below to what I'm talking about. If you'd like to discuss this further, if you have any questions, comments, anything like that, message me on the Facebook fan page. These are always things that I'm open to discussing with people. I get a lot of questions from people about the problems they're experiencing in their life, and in a lot of cases it's much easier for an outside person to take a look on someone's situation and give a different perspective, simply because I don't need to create space around the incident that you're experiencing or the event that you're experiencing, the extrinsic thing that's happening to you. I don't need to create space around that because the space is already created. I'm just a random person that's giving an opinion. The objective is to create space within yourself So then you don't necessarily have to go out and seek opinions of others. You don't necessarily have to go out and you know, try and solve your problem. You're solving it within. You're solving it yourself. You experience whatever you're experiencing, and you're creating the solution for yourself almost immediately. So that's pretty much it. That's all I wanted to talk about today. Let me know your thoughts on this topic and other topics that would be similar in the description below. Let me know if you've read up on Stoicism or Hermeticism or anything like that. This is based on just one principle of Hermeticism, which is the principle of polarity. It is in relation to the other 6 principles, so there's 7 principles total in Hermeticism. This is in relation to those. However, it you know, I didn't want to get too in depth on the other ones. It's a huge topic to discuss, so this is just a brief look in that window. Let me know your thoughts, comment down below, share this video with some friends if you feel it will help them, and that's pretty much it. So have yourself a great day, and take care.